So I've never played a single Fallout game before. I've heard many great things about the series from friends and even random people on the internet. I started taking an interest in it because I saw my friend playing Fallout 4 recently, and he had a whole base set up and he was just messing around, and I honestly never understood the appeal to the game. So I just straight up asked him, hey, what do you think is the best Fallout in the entire series? And he immediately answered with no hesitation in his voice,
it's Fallout New Vegas, you dumb fuck.
So recently I started streaming and I decided, why not stream this game and give my first reactions and opinions live? I didn't expect to love it, and I really didn't even expect to hate it. I really just had no opinion about it because Fallout as a series has never really gotten a reaction out of me. Right off the bat, you're greeted with a really cool cinematic cutscene going through the world of Fallout New Vegas, showing you casinos, the NCR, the Legion, and then you meet the main antagonist of the entire game. His name is Benny. You see, he takes this chip out of his jacket and he kind of shows it to you. And I remember seeing this casino chip and not really thinking anything of it at the time other than, oh, we're just showing off the Vegas vibes. But that's not all it's for, and I'll get to that a little later. Right after flashing this chip, he decides to shoot you point blank in the head, and that's it, bro. Game over, you lost, it's over. Obviously, I'm kidding. As soon as you get into the game, you're getting patched up by a guy named Doc Mitchell. In this segment, you get to customize your character, make them look however you want, and start assigning your skill points. Since this was my first Fallout game ever, I didn't realize how important these points were going to be in the future. You better believe on my second playthrough, I'm paying a lot more attention to my stats, okay? After that, Doc Mitchell sends you on your way to go meet another character named Sunny Smiles, who teaches you how to play the game. And it's exactly what I needed since I've never played a Fallout game before. And as soon as I walked out of Doc Mitchell's house for the first time, I was met with the world of Fallout New Vegas. And man, what can I say? My first thought was, wow, this game looks very interesting. The graphics immediately told me two things. This was going to be an older game, obviously, and that there was going to be a bunch of weird glitches, animation bugs, and just classic Bethesda quirks that we can see in a lot of their older games.
What the fuck?
And I don't know how to exactly describe the game's charm that it had on me on my first impression. The closest thing I can compare it to is the feeling you get when you look at classic World of Warcraft. It kind of just brings you back to a simpler time in life and scratches a weird itch that's in my brain that I can't honestly describe. So we started the tutorial, and Sunny Smiles was teaching me all sorts of different things, you know, like VATS and how to shoot things and, you know, just the regular stuff. And in the process, she lost her dog, all right? Rest in peace, Cheyenne. You will be missed. And honestly, Cheyenne dying traumatized me so much that I vowed to not take any companions with me on my adventure because I didn't want anyone to die at my hands of stupidity, just like Sunny Smiles' stupidity for letting her dog take on 3 geckos at once. What the hell was she thinking? Anyway, after the tutorial, I went back to Good Springs because I found out there was someone there who wasn't supposed to be there. A guy named Ringo. Turns out Ringo had ticked off a group of powder gangers by refusing to pay a fee and opening fire on them. He then escaped over to Good Springs. I found this out by meeting the lovely and infamous Joe Cobb. He wanted Ringo's head, bro, and he wanted it served to him on a silver platter or else. And this is where the game introduces one of the coolest things about it, and honestly, one of the reasons why I love it so much. And that thing is choice. I could have handed Ringo over to the powder gangers, hoping they wouldn't come back to hurt Good Springs, which probably would have happened anyway. Or I could defend Ringo in Good Springs and take out every single powder ganger that stepped foot on the land, which is what I did choose. There's also another sadistic option, which I could just team up with the powder gangers and wipe out Good Springs entirely. And if you pick that one, I feel like you need to be studied in a psychiatric ward. Realizing I could do whatever I wanted when a choice presented itself made everything feel so much bigger than I expected. It's not that I didn't know the game had choices, it's that I could actually take matters into my own hands. Even now, thinking about it, I could have killed Ringo, and who knows what would have happened if I did. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you all and say that I explored a ton of the map, because honestly, I barely scratched the surface, but the world felt massive to me. I wasn't expecting it to feel this big, especially given the graphics. No offense to the game, it just didn't look like it was going to be that huge, but I was so wrong. There was so much to find. Random traders, Legion members, the powder gangers fighting the NCR fighting the Legion. So many different things were happening all at once that made the world feel alive. And I remember turning on Radio New Vegas for the first time and hearing about things that I'd done in this world. The consequences of my choices being talked about in an in-game radio station. That is absolutely insane, and I don't think I've ever seen that in a game done before. If I've seen a game reference stuff that I've done on the radio, it's usually something linear, not choices that I actually had to make as the player. Like, he could have been talking negatively, positively, no matter what choice I made, but I love that. I love that this makes the world feel alive, and I get to craft my own story, my own path through the choices that I make. And can we talk about the characters for a second. Oh my lord, man. Every single one of them was so interesting. Even learning things that shouldn't affect the game was so fascinating to me. Let's take Benny for an example. When I found out that he was played by the late Matthew Perry, my desire to reason with him and keep him alive got so much stronger. And I just wanted to keep him around because I thought that was such a cool thing, and out of respect for the late Matthew Perry. And diving into these characters' motivations and how they want to play things really showed me how deep a lot of them go. There's so much story in New Vegas that I want to hear, even from random civilians. Like, there's just one kid in Freeside who's just chasing a rat the whole time. Every time you try to talk to him, he only gives you like some random NPC dialogue, and I just want to know why he's chasing this rat. Like, what's so bad about it other than it looking hideous? Then there's a character I have to be honest about. The second I met him, I knew I had to kill him. All right, there wasn't anything else about, like, I just knew right then and there he had to go. All right, even more than Benny, and his name was Caesar or Kaiser. They go by both different names. I don't know what you call him. I'm just gonna call him Caesar for the rest of this video. Feel free to correct me in the comments. But Caesar, he is the leader of the Legion, and when I was first brought to the Legion camp, I knew I was in for something that I'd never forget, because there was another town named Nipton where I found people's heads on pikes. I was absolutely distraught, and I had no idea what happened there. And that's where I got a sense that these people were not to be messed with. And speaking about Nipton, I also met a character named Oliver Swanick. He was going on and on about how he won some lottery, and I had no idea what he meant, but as soon as I heard lottery and won, I'll admit it, I killed the guy. And turns out, right after learning that I just killed this guy for a lottery ticket that I couldn't even cash in, he was the only person who didn't get hurt in any shape or form. That is the lottery that he won. So the Legion was like, hey, we're gonna pull tickets if you got your number called on, and guess what? You win the lottery. You're not gonna get hurt. And I just straight up murked this guy. And the funniest part about this entire situation was who I had to learn this information from. I found out from a guy who got his leg smashed. Can you imagine what I felt finding that out? It was hilarious. And not to sound like a crazy person, but come on, who wouldn't laugh at all that? The game set that up perfectly. I also really enjoyed Doc Mitchell. He was kind of my go-to doctor anytime I needed some patching up, radiation removed, or anything medical related. And another character I really enjoyed was Yes Man. He really reminded me of Claptrap from Borderlands. Not that he has like the same voice or like he was annoying, but I kind of caught like a similar vibe, you know, to Claptrap, and I kind of wanted to side with him almost immediately. And now for the character I'll probably talk about the most, because he's probably the most memorable one out of the entire playthrough, Jason Bright. I mean, this guy has a cult following, and I don't mean that as a figure of speech, since he actually leads one. When I googled him afterward, I saw how he was a well talked about character, and my reaction to meeting him was just so funny and organic. I immediately just wanted the best for him. I don't know, he seemed like one of the only people that didn't have any bad intentions with me and wasn't going to immediately try to kill me. And I don't know why, but it was just like an instant connection that I had. I got to him by talking to some guard over at Novak named Manny Vargas. He wanted the rocket facility cleared out so some people can go grab some resources. Classic Save My Town setup, so I just headed over to the rocket facility. Fought through a bunch of enemies, and I got a voice on the intercom telling me meet them on one side of the building. I don't honestly remember which one. I got pretty lost looking for them. I don't know if it was the east or the west, but I eventually found him along with some guy who was calling me a smooth skin, which honestly felt like some kind of slur. And then I met Jason Bright, and he told me he wanted help getting his people to the promised land. I had no idea what this man was yapping about, but as soon as I heard launching rockets, I was all in. So I went out to collect a bunch of different parts for this rocket launch, and I ran into an old lady named Old Lady Gibson. I really didn't want to be a bad person through this playthrough. I really wanted to take the good route to see, you know, like what is the most generic ending I could get. But I have to be honest here, I killed Old Lady Gibson in cold blood about 4 times. And it became one of the funniest parts of my stream. She wanted 500 caps for a rocket part. And I was kind of broke, and I hadn't started gambling yet, so I just took the part off of her instead. And then I swiftly headed back to watch the rockets launch from the top of the platform in just complete awe. I don't know where they went, and I don't know if they survived or what happened to them after the events of New Vegas. All I know is I completed the mission and got to watch 3 rockets launch at once, which was one of the coolest missions I've ever had the pleasure of playing, and memorable enough that I want to go back and do it again. And this is where I really understood why everyone loves this game. Your choices matter, from big story decisions all the way down to your skill points. Even with the rocket launch, I could have handled it differently if I had a higher science skill, but my character didn't know how to work the console. So like, there's just so much freedom, and you can bounce between quests, stop one halfway, go complete another. And the humor is also genuinely funny and organic. And I'm not just talking about like intentional jokes. I'm talking about like the random things, like blowing an ant's head clean off. It just always makes me laugh to do something like that. I also love that even the factions I hated, like the Legion, have their own motivations. And I found myself genuinely interested in understanding them and trying to get their point of view. A lot of characters in this game don't feel purely good or evil, and I really like that. There isn't one clearly right side. You could make an argument for any of them. And then there's the gambling, all right? Where would we be without the gambling? Something I just can't resist in a video game, and here I am. I don't have to worry about spending real money. See, I had 8 luck, and I was on a roll playing blackjack, and an entire chunk of my stream was just me playing blackjack the entire time. I'm actually thinking about doing a New Vegas video where I try to get kicked out of every single casino from just gambling. Let me know if you'd want to see that. Now, I will say this game is great, but I do have one real issue with it: the crashing. Oh my lord, how many times I've crashed playing this game is just undeniably annoying. See, I'm running a RTX 5060 Ti, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and a Ryzen 7 5600X. There is no reason why I shouldn't be able to run this game like butter, but it still crashes constantly. New Vegas is objectively messy, but honestly, it kind of adds to the charm a little bit, you know? There were plenty of moments where the game crashed at the worst possible time, and I would just dead stare into the camera. And my chat loved it. I even found humor in it too, even being on the losing end. So yes, the crashes are a real negative, but somehow it still adds to the charm. I knew going into this, it was going to be a buggy mess. So it's not like I didn't expect this. I'll probably get some fair criticism here as well, because all I did was play through the main story. I did no side quests, no DLC, and that's a valid thing to bring up. Honestly, I want to go back and 100% this game eventually, and I think that's a good thing. But I'm going to keep the reason why I skipped all the extra content very, very simple, because even just for the main story, I have over 20 hours of footage to edit through. Over 400 gigabytes worth of space on my computer is being taken up from just the footage for this video alone. I can't even imagine how much footage a completion run would generate. And I want you all to understand, I don't have a team of editors. It's just me in my room playing these games, recording them, and putting videos together. So I need you to cut me some slack here. I wanted to get through the story first, and now I have an even bigger reason to go back and experience every single thing I missed and play the game a second time. So let's talk about the ending here. I was presented with basically just 4 options. Siding with the NCR would have meant putting a government in place, and I honestly don't think that's what the people in this world need, especially in the state that we're all in at the moment. I would think that they would want to be more free, so that option to me was never on the list. And then there was Mr. House. As soon as I met him, I didn't trust him one bit. Something about him just gave me the sense that he would betray me eventually, and I don't know what it is. It's just his vibe. And then we have the almighty Caesar, who was obviously never going to be an option, because the second I saw heads on pikes, he was done. And that left me with one last option, which was Yes Man. I really like this ending because it let me screw over the Legion, stop a government from forming, and get rid of a shady character. And the icing on the cake, I took Benny's original plan and pulled it off myself, sticking it to the guy who shot me in the beginning of the game. And that felt like the most compelling ending I could have chosen. And I gave everyone independence. So I fought through Hoover Dam, and it was brutal. I went in underleveled, undergeared, and I underestimated the ending completely. So I hit a wall, and that wall's name was Lanius. This guy was unkillable. I streamed trying to take him down for over an hour, dying, respawning, and dying again and again and again, which told me in my chat that I was nowhere near ready. So I came up with a plan, an entire stream dedicated to prep for this guy. Maybe you were here last stream, maybe you weren't. I don't know, but what I do know is that mother Lanius is gonna die. I'm gonna kill this son of a. So I devised an entire plan to killing this little. Let me present to you Operation HTFDIKTG. This is a foolproof plan to killing this son of a bitch. What the does this even mean? What is Operation whatever the hell I just said? It means how the do we kill this guy? I mean, look at him. Look at this guy. This guy looks unkillable. I'm going to show you guys exactly how with phase 1. Phase 1, we got to get a companion. All right, I was looking up a bunch of different things because I wanted to get prepared for this so I can actually kill every single thing without struggling anymore. No more setbacks. We're done playing around. So we need a homie to help us out. And I found out that this guy, He lives in Novak, and we're idolized in Novak. Next up, Phase 2. Phase 2, we're gonna get this robot. Now, that's not an actual picture of the robot, but I thought it looked funny, so that's why I put it there. No brainer here. Okay, I gotta get this guy. Phase number 3. Gotta get our money up. And the only way I know how to get my money up in life is to gamble. I'm gonna gamble all my caps. Next, we need to get a big gun. And I did a bunch of research, like I said. There is this gun in the game called Fat Man. It launches mini nukes. So we're gonna get this thing, and we're launching nukes. This son of a... That's what we're gonna do. We're going to blow his smooth off. Now, what if this doesn't work? Because if you're a Fallout player, you may already know you need 8 strength to wield this weapon. I only have 7. We got a backup plan. Welcome to Plan B. Annabelle, all right? Not the doll. Don't get confused with the doll, all right? This thing is apparently one of the best weapons in the game, and we're going to take that as well. We're going to grab that today. Phase 6. We eliminate this son of a bitch. He is not leaving alive. We're killing him. Trying to level up my speech. Trying to talk to him. The amount of pain and suffering he caused me yesterday, he's done for. He's going to die. And finally, after many attempts, I took down Lanius and beat Fallout New Vegas for the first time, closing it out with the conversation with the NCR. That ended rather abruptly. And what I loved so much about that fight was it gave me my own story within the story to worry about. Yeah, he's hard and I had to prepare for him, but I got so immersed in the world that I basically wrote my own live story on stream. I built this entire massive plan around it, and for that entire stream, I was locked in on just this one goal. The fact that this game can pull that out of me so easily just proves how great of a game it is. And that wasn't the only time it happened either. Remember earlier when Sunny Smiles' dog died and I said I didn't want any companions for the rest of the playthrough? Well, Lanius made me throw all that out the window. I knew I couldn't take him on alone, so I ended up recruiting 2 companions to help me out, one of whom left midway through the mission, but we don't talk about that guy. My boy ED-E, though, aka Eddie, stuck it out. And if it wasn't for him distracting Lanius, cutting off his escape routes, and helping me clear out other enemies in the area, who knows what would have happened to me. He made easy work of a lot of the fight. I had to throw every single one of my own rules out the window to take this guy down, and I built an entire story organically by just playing the game. And I've never had that happen so naturally in any other game that I've ever played. So, is this game worth the hype? A lot of people are going to look at this at surface level, like I once did. It's old, it's buggy, it crashes, it looks dated. But I'm telling you right now, this is one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had. The last time I felt this strongly about a game was Borderlands 2, which I still play till this day and consider my favorite game of all time. Fallout New Vegas has earned a spot in my top 5 games ever. It's fantastic from beginning to end. It grips you and makes you want to learn more and do more. And it doesn't feel like a grind. It's just something that you want to go back to. Next time I play the game, I'm going to properly level, explore more, do side quests, hunt down unique weapons and loot, learn more about factions, play the DLCs, talk to characters I missed, and just take my time. I haven't even scratched the surface of what this game is, and I have to be honest, this is already a 10 out of 10 game for me. As for when I'll do another playthrough, they just recently announced the remaster, so I'm going to be waiting on that whenever that drops, since the base game is old, buggy, and crashes a lot. I'm just hoping that it holds up as well as the Oblivion remasters they recently did. I never played the original Oblivion, and I haven't even played the remaster either, but from what I heard from true fans that played the original, is that it felt true to the original with just an updated look, keeping even some of the classic glitches that people know. And I'm okay to keep some of the old classic glitches and stuff. That's all well and good, but please, let's fix the crashes. If you never played Fallout New Vegas and you're on the fence about it, just go play it. You'll have a blast, man. And if you already played it, maybe it's time to revisit it. This was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had playing a game for the first time. I inspired so many people who came to my stream saying, "You're making this game look like fun. I want to play it again." And that was one of the most validating things I've ever received as a creator. And I'm excited to play more games this great. So if you have any suggestions for any other games you want to see me play, let me know down in the comments. And even if I already played something, I'm open to doing a video like this again. But thank you all so much for watching. It's been your boy Cactus. Peace out. Love y'all.